Hello, everybody. Special hello to all my friends down in the United States of America, the US of A, and to all my friends across Canada. And yes, I'm wearing my white Established Canada 1867 hat today because when a fellow wears a white hat, he's a good guy. When he wears a black hat, he's a bad guy, whatever that means. Anyway, I just finished watching a taped interview of Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, addressing an audience in Iowa. And the premise of that was because he decided to do that to fill in for the governor of Iowa, who, like a lot of Republican governors, have been told to basically don't hold town halls anymore because they don't want to listen to the complaints. And they're saying, of course, they're spinning that by saying that they don't want to listen to the complaints of people from other states, Democrats, when some of that's true, I suppose, but it doesn't matter. That's your job. You work for the people. That's what they voted for, you and your leader, Mr. Trump. And you're supposed to, that's your job. That's part of your job. If people want to, you don't just go to places where people are going to tell you how wonderful you are, especially if you're a politician and you're in that position. That's your job. I mean, come on, again, the hypocrisy. The governing Republicans in the United States, along with their, South African President Trump, Musk, you're telling, they're complaining that the news media is making fun of them, is pointing out bad things. Trump actually went to, as I understand it, went to the what do you call it in the States? Okay, there's the Senate, the executive, and the judiciary. That's it. Anyway, I didn't say I was a genius. And asking them to come to his aid to force the media to not say bad things about him. I mean, is that a thing? Is that real? Is that acceptable? Does that make any bloody sense at all? Not to me. Anyway, I digress. So I listened to Tim Walz, and I got to tell you something. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He personifies everything that I personally, and who cares what I think, right? Anyway, it's my show. He personifies masculinity. He personifies goodness, politeness, enthusiasm, hardworking. He's a veteran of the United States military. He was a teacher and coach. His wife is a school teacher. One of his sons is a special needs child, whom, from what I could see, loves his dad, and he obviously loves his son, loves his daughter, loves his wife, his other kids. And he's never, everything I've ever read about him or, seen him in public on the stage, everything about him screams I'm one of you. I'm just a guy. I'm just an ordinary guy, you know, and I'm trying to work hard for your kids, for your families, for your job security, for the farmers in his state. You know, I hear all the time about how MAGA thinks of Trump as one of them. How could you possibly believe that a guy who was born with a silver spoon, not only in his mouth, but up his ass, who grabs women by their private parts and brags about it, doesn't apologize for anything he does, pretends he's Christian, God-fearing, when it's obvious every single word that comes out of his mouth is a lie. He's a hypocrite, a liar, and I hear that the MAGA who follow him, they follow him because he's a real man. He's masculine. He cheated on all his wives. He screwed a porn star. Nothing against porn stars. Yeah, they come in handy, especially for an old guy like me once in a while. But come on, folks. Listen, I understand that you wanted a change down there. I understand that. I do. I honestly do. I don't know how you guys get by with only two parties. Oh, two parties. I did four. Two twice. Especially, let's be honest. Politics are politics. These guys, people who get into politics, I think a lot of them at first they really want to serve. That's but human nature being what it is, and as I understand human nature, again, I don't have any degrees, just I believe is common sense. Once you taste power, once somebody puts you in a place of power, it's really hard to hold on to your humility and to remember why you first joined up. It may be because you become frustrated with all the people, and I could never be a politician because I would tell people to go fuck themselves when they complain about nothing. And you have to put up with that. You have to put up with the poor people who cry poor. You have to put up with the rich people who cry rich, And the way your politics works down there, it's way different than Canadian politics. So we have a restriction here in Canada. You can only legally, okay, give so much money to a politician to help with his campaign. Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there's no limit on how much money a person can give a politician in the United States. So a politician in the United States, I mean, you have to appeal to the people to get the votes, but you can use the money for your campaign that you get from the rich people who want to buy your loyalty, like Elon Musk, $250 million, hoping he was going to, make billions more than he has now, which he doesn't need. We'll talk about that some other time, about how the rich don't deserve to be that rich. Okay, well, yeah, bit of a socialist kind of idea I have about that. Okay, you Americans might call it communism. Ooh, do your studies, and you'll read about communism and democracy and study it a little bit. Okay, like I said, I'm not well versed or educated, but I know enough to get me in trouble. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so back to the point. You think Trump is a real man, a real masculine man, a guy who, no, I was going to say shits his pants, but that's unfair. He's got problems with his digestion, I guess, and I mean, I've got I've got physical problems myself. But a liar, a cheater, a guy who sells Bibles, you know, hats. While he's the president of the United States, he's promoting, he's hawking merchandise like a YouTuber might do. You know, buy my merch, and I'll be able to continue being presenting you with all these videos on YouTube. Hey, all you need is a little camera, a microphone, and something to say. You know, well, you can decide whether what I have to say is worthwhile listening to. Hopefully. Actually, anyway, back to the Tim Walz. He's a man. Okay? He's a politician that I would love to run my province. He's a guy that if I saw him as a premier of my province downtown in a bar somewhere, which, I'm not saying he hangs out in a bar. I don't go to bars anymore. But I know that I could walk up to him and say, Mr. Walz, may I have a few minutes of your time? I'm a senior citizen, blah, blah, blah. My name's Murray. I can almost guarantee, okay, I've never met the man, probably never will. I wish I could. I'd love to shake his hand. I'd love to give him a hug. I know he would stop and talk to me. I know. Okay. I also know he'd fight for me. If I had a problem, he would do whatever he could. It might be just, give me a phone number that I could have got myself to phone the right person to get my problem solved. But I am pretty damn sure, isn't that the kind of person you would want? I'm not necessarily saying have him as your president. I'm not, you make your own decisions. I'm simply using him as an example of a politician who is one of you, okay? Unless you're, a criminal or drug addict or, I don't know. And again, nothing against drug addicts. It's a disease, like a lot of diseases. But you think you can relate, and you think that to Trump, and you think that a person like Trump can relate to people like us, like me? He sees us as waste, okay? We're costing his business, and that's how he sees. He's the CEO of the United States of America, okay? He's a salesman. That's what he does. He looks for the best deal, the art of the deal. That's got very little to do with politics, social programs, taking care of your sick, taking care of, making sure that, yes, even your criminals, your prisoners in jail, that they're treated relatively decently, that they're not beaten, and, which would be an example of the worst of your society, of any country's society. Do you think he cares about any of that? Any of those people? He doesn't care for the people that he marries. He doesn't care about his own kids. He refers to he was on the, what's that guy's name on, I can't remember now. Tall Jewish fellow that has the radio show. Anyway, very popular. He referred to Trump's daughter as a nice piece of ass. And Trump didn't defend that. I think he agreed with it. and you evangelists down there in the States promoting him, saying things like he's a godsend, Jesus, and praying over him. You hypocritical sons of bitches. I don't blame the average mega person. I don't have any feelings one way or another about a group of cultists, other than I feel bad for you because you've been duped. You've been brainwashed. Okay? I know you don't want to admit it. I know you feel good about yourself. You're part of this big group and you're all wearing your red hats hmm, and shirts. Okay. You got a common, you're accepted when when most of your life you weren't accepted. You were trailer trash, some of you, and talked down at to and made fun of and jokes made about you because, jokes like you have no teeth and all this other kind of stuff. Well, guess what? Being part of a cult is not going to save you. Just do some research on cults. I'm going to make a lot of people upset with this, but I want to relate to you mega folk. I was brought up a very strict, and I mean strict Catholic. I've got cousins and uncles and aunts that are nuns, priests, monsignors. My mother was brought up by nuns in an orphanage from age 3 to age 13. My mom was a super Catholic. If a priest walked by me and my mom when I was a kid, it was like Elvis walked or God himself walked into the room or walked by us. She would get physically excited, like like a movie star walked by. Okay. And my dad was brought up Catholic. Of course, he was a good Catholic. He drank a lot. He had lots of kids with my mom. Another thing, good Catholic, you got to have lots of kids. Got to have lots of, little soldiers in the army to, to keep the church going. Got to make those donations, I was an altar boy and a choir boy. So I served Mass 3 times a week, went to church at night with my mom, my 2 younger brothers, and did the Stations of the Cross. That's a cult. When I was a kid, if you were Protestant according to my father and had money, you were the devil. You were evil. You know why he said that? Because he had nothing. He was insecure. Okay? Sound familiar, mega folks? So being Catholic, being part of that group gave my dad a sense of superiority over the Protestants, the dirty Protestants, the filthy sons of bitch rich people. Okay? My dad wanted the same stuff that they had, and he couldn't get it. He wasn't able through multiple reasons. He had no ability to get past the hole that he was in, that he was initially put in by his upbringing, which someday I'll discuss that with you, just so you know where I'm coming from. And my mom, okay, she married my dad when she was 18. Her father basically abandoned her. My dad's father abandoned him. He's kind of, we used to call him weekend alcoholics, car salesman. Anyway, they did the best they could. I'm one of the babies of my family. I've got my oldest brother's 83, still alive, still works, still pulls his own weight. That's one thing my father, well, he gave us a few things, but he never accepted charity. And I've got nothing against that. Okay. But it helped us to stay out of serious trouble with the law. We had a sense of pride. We had a sense of whatever, even though it came from kind of odd places. But anyway, just think about that, mega folks. Think about that. Think about what I've talked about, what I know in your heart. Okay? There's no rich person on this earth like Trump, brought up like him, like Musk, okay, that cares about you, who cares anything about you. It's all about them. To them, this, oh, wow, I could be a president of the United States, most powerful country in the world. Oh, my God, imagine the money I can make for myself. And he's doing it. He does it right in front of you. Just like That little German guy back in the 1930s, remember? Don't say his name out loud. Oh, I did the Musk salute. Oh, I did it again. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm going to be fair with you. I'm not sure that that was necessarily a Hitler salute, but it's it sure looked like one to me. Hey, but whatever. Anyway, God bless you, Mega. God bless you. I feel bad. I really do. And I know you don't care if I do, because I'm just a stupid old Canadian living in Atlantic Canada, in Nova Scotia. And what the fuck do I know? Nothing. Right? I know one thing. I would definitely vote for Tim Walz for president, governor, prime minister, or any other position that he might find himself in government. He's a real man. Yeah, he's a little guy. Yeah, he's a little bit round. Yeah, he's always got that little smile on his face. But inside him, he's 6 foot. Inside his mind, in his body, he's 6 foot effing 4. He's 250 pounds. He's that center line football player that he wanted to be, and because he couldn't, instead of being, pissed off or angry about it, he became a coach and he helped those guys. He helped those young men learn what it is to be a real man. He's a real man. Anyway, that's enough shit for the day. God bless America. God bless Canada. God bless the world that produced all of us here in North America. Don't forget, we're all immigrants. All of us. All of us. Okay? The only people that, well, actually, even the indigenous people here came from somewhere else. All right? Came from Asia. Okay? Think about that next time you want to put down some poor fellow from Mexico or who's just trying to live, man. He's just trying to live. Just wants to feed his family. Just wants to eat. Yeah, some of them are criminals, of course. Yeah, there's no criminals in the United States, right? No criminals in Canada. Canadian, oh, every Canadian's perfect. Bullshit. Anyway, I digress and I digress and I digress. Love y'all. Be good to each other, okay? Try to be good. Doesn't cost anything to smile. Say thank you. Bye now.